What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to show you something that unfortunately is extremely prevalent in this industry. Get right to it. We've got a 67 Mustang right here. Excuse me, 68 Mustang. Convertible that it spent 18 months at a body shop in the area that is well known for less than honest business practices. These people paid really good money to have this car color changed, painted, bodywork, and whatnot. And now I'm going to show you things around this car that I spotted in pictures that he showed me before I ever got the car here. This is exactly how this car came to me. Okay, show the car. We got all the body panels for it. They're, the body work is amateur at best. It'd probably be a great 20-foot car just the way it was. But if you go to a show or try and brag on your car at all, it's not a car to brag about. When cars leave here, you guys all know this, you've seen some of the cars. When the cars leave here, it's a car to brag on. Okay, so we're gonna go over this car, and unfortunately, with all the money they've already paid, we're basically gonna tear this car down and start over. The one saving grace is it's a rag top. The top's already done, interior's already done, all that. But let me just show you some of the, we'll start at the front, we might as well. Go ahead and show the car here. This was a color change. It was a white car, and they wanted it painted this blue color. So, as you can see, there's still an awful lot of white on the car. But the biggest thing in one of the pictures that he showed me was when this engine compartment was being painted, the engine was still in it. So that's not how you do it. There's white paint everywhere, and where there isn't white paint, there's light blue overspray. So we've got to do everything. Inside of the frame rails weren't painted. The shop that had this car did some mechanical work. They did a disc brake conversion and did it before they painted. So there's still white paint behind it. There's a couple of patches on both sides, very typical for this era Mustang. They rusted here. Okay, there's been some welding done. Okay, they welded in a patch, but take the time to smooth it out, because that's all going to show. So why this paint, all this paint's going to do for us is be a guide coat. We're going to block this out. I got a magnet here. The car, surprisingly to me, knowing this shop and the kind of work that they've done in the past, and again, people around here are pretty well know who I'm talking about. But anyway, not a ton of Bondo in the car that I can see. Everywhere, I mean, these, people sit on them, whatever. Usually they, there's going to be some fill in there to smooth the cowl out. Cowl's pretty good, but stuff like this, okay? If you can get in here with the camera a little bit, at some point the car had quarters put on it, and down here the line just completely gets lost, and you can tell by the way it's probably not going to transfer to film very well. But film, how old am I? These edges here, obviously he took a piece of sandpaper and sanded these edges flat. Okay, they're not flat, they've got a kind of a radius to them, so it's details. The devil's in the details. This, Bobby does it, he'll use a paint stick, put a piece of sandpaper on a paint stick and sand this flat, regardless of the fact that it doesn't need to have Bondo on it. Where your rosettes or spot welds are, things like that, you might need a little bit of a wipe. But this, he just made himself a door jamb. And this is the good side. Come over here.
That goes back to all the things that we do that people don't see.
Right. These are the things, just like Bobby said, that people don't see or don't expect. a lot of people that have cars restored are not necessarily knowledgeable in the process of doing the car. The team that I've put together here are all very detail-oriented people. It has to look, if it's a color change, it has to appear that that is the color of the car. The only way you can tell is to look at a trim tag or a build sheet. But here, see this? It starts here and goes all the way down. There's no, and I mean a touch-up here. It just, I can harp on it enough. I hope you can see it well in the video. This is horrible, hacky, amateur work that these people paid big money to get done, okay? And unfortunately, again, like I said, they're having to pay again to do it. I'm gonna do my best by them and try and keep it as low as possible, but I still gotta pay the guys, I still gotta keep the lights on, we still gotta do a bunch of work. It looks like he painted the car, and perhaps he wasn't satisfied with the car either, because he started sanding it down a little further, looking a little bit further. You know, you can't see it in here because of the lighting, but the paint is all modeled. The pearls in this blue have laid in every different direction, which is going to change the color. Okay, gun wasn't adjusted right, paint wasn't mixed correctly. Any number of things could have happened to cause this, but it's relatively solid in all the places that you would want it to be solid. So that's good. That's going to save Fred and Becky a bunch of money. Any place that I find, or Bobby finds when we're doing this car, any place I find that has filler in it, I have to take it out, because I can't do this car and let it go with our name on it. And you know, who did your car? Oh, Bennett's Hot Rods did it. And they're like, because a lot of people will not tell the entire story, and not through any fault of theirs. I mean, we painted it, we were responsible for it, and so forth. But they won't tell the story that it got rescued from somewhere. Well, now we're going to do such a nice job on this car that the first thing they say is that we rescued it and we did this car. I guarantee you. But it's, you know, it's going to be, yeah. It's going to be a lot easier for us to do this car, simply because it's already been done incorrectly. We've got to go back and fix some of the incorrect work that was done, but we don't have to do rust repair panels or quarter panels or floors or anything. God, no rust. We've been dealing with so much rust, which is odd. I think I have every rusty car in California here, because I'm one of the only guys that wants to work on rusty cars. But here, where the quarter was put on, now this gets a quarter extension over this, so you're not gonna see this. The reason why I do these videos is because, yes, you are gonna see it. You're gonna see it before I put it together. So that, even though you don't see it in the finished product, that's gonna be finished correctly. And this guy right here is a stickler for it. I'm like, yeah, good, you know, and Bobby's like, nope, we're going to do it a little bit more. So it's the only way to do it right, and do it good, because you spend literally thousands and thousands of dollars building one of these cars. You want it to last, okay? The value of them is, it's a cult car. I mean, the really basically first body style Mustang. Right. Everybody's either owned one or knows somebody that owned one. It was probably one of the most mass-produced cars in history. Parts are readily available. CJ's Pony Parts, our other 68 that we're doing, exclusively. I bought CJ's Pony Parts. It's an inexpensive car to buy pieces for. It's an expensive car to work on. But it's the things that you don't see. The reason why this car turned out the way it is because he did not take the time to do the things you don't see, that you don't understand go into the process of restoring a car. Because as soon as you put paint on it, every janky thing you've done is going to show up. Everything.
Yep.
Now, this place...
Like that dent right there?
Yeah, like that dent.
This is not ready to be painted at all.
No.
I don't know why it's painted. See this little shiny spot?
That's a dent.
That's a dent.
Mm-hmm.
It showed up.
Right.
And
All right,
let me-
stand over here.
Go ahead.
Get a shot like that. Set it that way.
Yeah.
Come over here.
Come over here.
See all that shiny? Where it's shiny and it's dull, the dull part.
Going through here.
All that shiny in the middle of there is where it's still low and hasn't been blocked out properly. Looks like somebody sanded it with a bag of walnuts.
Yeah.
So,
But again, you know, in a lot of the places that the car generally has problems, this one is, there's a lot of good metal in this car. But then we get over here, not so much. This cove right here is not shaped correctly. It's done okay for a guy with real Coke bottle thick glasses working in his backyard in a rainstorm would have done. I mean, it's just not really good quality work. But it is inside the cove hasn't been changed. Like I say, inside the cove hasn't been changed, but right here is wrong. So we have to investigate that. That's probably going to be really the most we're going to have to grind into what's there to see exactly what's going on. And again, it probably won't transfer to the video very well, but all of these lines around here, it's all supposed to be a uniform line. This is radiused here quite a bit, here quite a bit, sharp here like a tack, and it's just, the time was not taken to prep this car correctly for paint. And it just, nitpicky, like Tony says, let's not be nitpicky on people's cars. I'm nitpicky on people's cars. These guys are nitpicky on people's cars. Because when we walk into Walmart, we want people to know who we are. and it'd be great not to have to go to Walmart that much anymore. But we're going to do a continuing thing on this car as we go through it. Every single little thing I find on this car that was done incorrectly, I'm going to point out on video to teach you guys, if you're going to take your car somewhere, if you're not going to do it yourself, if you're going to take it to a shop, do your homework. Look at some of their other work. Talk to them. Look at the shop. That's why we spent the time trying to make this shop a presentable place, because this is not an inexpensive thing for people to do. You come in here and there's crap everywhere, or we don't let you in the shop, or you call and say, I want to come see my car. Oh, no, you can't. We're in the middle of doing this or that or the other thing. No, we are 100% transparent. We will show you everything we do on these cars and the reason why we do it. The reason why we do it is it's hard to say perfect. Like, you know, even Scott's Hot Rods, the 37 Chevy that we're putting the frame in, they said, you know, they manufacture it, give you great instructions on how to put it in. Great technical support. That's really, we're going to take a company field trip to Scott's one day, because it's just in Knoxville. It's an hour and a half away, to go and see their facility where they build some of this stuff. But that's getting off subject. But even they said that once you get that in there, it won't be perfect. Okay, so perfection is a really hard thing to achieve. And if you go into it just to make a couple bucks, this is really the wrong industry for you. But if you go into it with the outcome in your mind of this car is going to be perfect, it will be as close as humanly possible as you can get it. If you get to a point where something isn't going your way, walk away. Go, you know, that's why I got 10 cars in here we're working on. Just walk away, go work on another car. You know, it's easy, just put it away. The other thing is the 18 months that this guy had this car here, I'm not entirely sure. I know he put the interior in it, but the interior was purchased. It wasn't, it wasn't really done. So that doesn't take any time. I mean, we could put an interior in a car in 2 hours. But this this is what shows the shiny parts. I want the shiny parts on every car that we do to be as perfect as humanly possible, and we kind of do that. I mean, you know, it doesn't.
That's for sure.
Yeah, we should try hard. Yes, it does not leave here until the three of us. It used to be just me. Said that it's okay, but both of these guys are extremely knowledgeable of what they do. So now it's three people checking the list off on a car. And if one of us sees something that they're not happy with, the car's not leaving. That part's going to get fixed until all three people go, yep, it's good. So, but it's
And one of the things, like I said before, a lot of the stuff we do is stuff that nobody ever sees because we took care of it. But it's just like leaving this right here. This is the thing I'm talking about. We will take the time to fix this and make this line look like it's supposed to, but nobody will ever know that we did that. So,
right. You won't be able to tell that any body work's been done here. You just won't. You're gonna have to be a pretty high level guy to spot our work. And again, can't stress it enough. It's because we take the time to do the stuff you don't see. That's what makes parts fit right. That's what makes the work that you charge really good money for to last. But there are so many people that are just out there to rip people off doing this, and it's
just
sad.
wanna get your money.
Yeah,
Get it in, get it painted, get it out,
Yeah.
and then 2 years later it looks like crap.
well, what this guy would do was, now we, of course, we take a deposit on all our cars, but we work on the cars. We purchase parts out of that. We purchase materials out of that. What this shop was doing was taking a deposit on a car and working on the last one that came in with that money. So you're never ahead of the game. And I'm not saying that we don't use some of this deposit money for other stuff on other cars. We do, but not to that, not as a business model. And that's what he was doing, was just collecting checks. And you know, he'd do a little bit real quick and get the people in there, and they'd see it and say, oh, okay, yeah, here's some money. Because to the untrained eye, it looks like something's being done. But in 6 months, it'll be laying in a pile in your driveway. And it's just sad.
This is unacceptable. This
Pat-
is unacceptable. Even though you're never going to see that, we can see it, and this video is going to see it. So it has to be fixed. We can't leave it like that. It's got to look correct.
And the other thing is everybody knows it. It took somebody a bunch of time to do this.
Yeah.
It probably takes less time to do it correctly than it does to do it wrong. You know, it's like people that go out and they're scamming people and doing this and doing that, and that's their way of making money. If they put half of that energy into actually learning the skill and doing something, we'd all be a lot better off.
Right.
There are some of us that sign the front of checks, and there are some of us that sign the back of checks. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I mean, a color change without removing the motor is a physical impossibility to do it correctly. You're gonna miss something. And then to do this, it's matte in here. It's not shiny like the body's supposed to be. But this Mustang purists all know this is all black in here. This is all supposed to be black. I like doing these cars with the engine compartment painted the body color to enhance a nice clean motor, because we're going to detail this motor too. It's a good running 302, but we're going to pull it, paint it, put it back together, clean it all up. But it's not a 2010 Taurus, okay? It doesn't have to be matte in here. You know, I mean, it's just...
I'm not in there.
Yeah, I mean...
Right here.
What, Matt? It's not Matt in there. Oh, Matt's gonna be in there. Oh,
Yeah.
you're gonna learn. But but it just, you know, I mean, we can do. I mean, such. That's why you've been sitting here, so I don't steal your magnet.
No, I needed it. I
Oh.
got to weld that factory.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I got magnets.
I don't want to disturb your video.
I like your hat. It's nice. Had a damn. But it just, you know, this is a car that I want us to be especially proud of when it's done. Just because we were able to take something that somebody really did more damage to than repaired. I mean, this is,
And paint's not, that's not gonna last.
no, that's not going to last at all.
Yeah, it's got a clear coat on it.
Yeah. There's not going to be any UV protection in it. The trim, take it off. Okay, now it's been damaged, and that's obvious that it's been done with a DA.
Yeah.
You know, so now we've got to take this off, which we would have done anyway, and put it in storage while we were working on the car, so when it goes back on, it's perfect. Now we got to take the time to rouge, buff it.
There's no paint under there.
Probably not.
There's not. I found a piece of tape right there.
Yeah, so this, you know, when I worked at Color Glow West in Santa Maria, California, and we were painting cars for 99 bucks, yeah, you tape everything up, okay? But the time that it takes, some stuff has to be taped. The time that it takes to tape stuff off takes longer, costs you more in materials and money than it does to just take the chrome off the car. I mean, then paint gets under it. It's like I said, when this car leaves here, it's gonna be that color or a variation thereof, because I don't know what color it is, but we can have it red and get a code for it. But it's gonna be a nice little car, and hopefully I'm able to do my part, we can do our part to kind of save the people that had this car done, kind of try and save this project for them, and not be over the moon paying twice to have a car restored, one of which ended up costing you the second one. I'm sure all these guys will put extra time in it, you know, and just make sure that things are right, because we're under a microscope on this one, okay? Because
We're
they
under
know,
a microscope on all of it.
yeah, we are. That's true. But this one, this in particularly, because it came from another shop that just criminally took advantage of these people. So
This is not acceptable.
no, I know it's
The
these.
clip has white under it.
I know we can go over this a million times and still find more stuff. Take these off. Better
It's
yet,
not that hard. It's
better
not
yet,
right off.
take them off and throw them away.
Yeah,
it's
put new ones on.
$20 for a front end kit for for this car. I mean, all the nuts and bolts and little U-bolts and cage bolts and all that. You can buy all that stuff. It's for nothing. Yeah. And then here, okay, so maybe the customer said to the shop that had this car, yeah, I'm not really interested in doing anything with the suspension right now, blah, blah, blah. Okay, protect what they have.
Yeah.
If they don't want that stuff painted, it's good, it works, et cetera,
don't
et
paint
cetera. Don't paint it. You know, it's got overspray on everything. You know, and that's the kind of stuff that if I go to a show and I see this car, I'm gonna walk by it and go, yep, it's another Mustang convertible. Woohoo! Okay, no, I want people to stop and go, that is the nicest Mustang convertible I've ever seen. You know, we don't have $100,000 builds here. We don't have unlimited budget builds here. We try and do something kind for these people, but still make money. Bobby's got to eat. I got to eat. Matt's got it. Well, Matt only eats sometimes, but and it's usually mice, whatever he finds out in the parking lot. But no, that's not true. He doesn't. Squirrels maybe, but not mice. But yeah, I mean, see, you move this. There's white paint right there. Okay, just completely unacceptable to not.
It's not that hard to pop that little clip off.
Do it with a screwdriver. It's a lot easier, but I just did it in
Look how long it's
3.4 seconds. I keep finding stuff wrong with this car. That's new. These are new.
So he put them on and then.
So he put them on and then painted them. Exactly. So now we'll put, if I take it apart and find out that the majority of them are new, they're going in the tumbler and we'll reuse them. And that's something that's going to be able to save them a few bucks. We don't have, even though it's only $20, $20 over.
They're already in so deep to get to this point.
Right. And I mean, it's just,
Now we need to start over.
yeah, yep. When we get the motor out, I'm going to go a little more in depth in the engine compartment with you guys so you can see just exactly what happens when you try and color change a car or paint an engine compartment with the engine in it. I know that a lot of people are not engine people. I'm a paint guy, I'm an upholstery guy, I'm this, I'm more into doing this, I'm more into doing that. And looking at this motor to pull this motor out is probably daunting to some people.
But if you're going to be a restoration shop,
You got to learn how to pull a freaking motor out of a car. It's really not that hard, you know. That's difficult there inside that vent. Mustangs don't have a removable cowl panel. So what we're going to have to do is probably with a pressure washer, blast in there as good as possible, get it cleaned out. When Bobby goes to paint this car, there's a way to go across those vents that doesn't just put blue powder in there and look horrible for the rest of its life. That'll look nice in there, even though there's no access to it. The wiper stalks, okay? I mean, you could have taken them out, or I'd have loaned you some tape and you could tape them up. You know, your wiper's not going to want to go on that now because it's a very, very precise, tight fit. If anybody's ever tried to take wipers off a car, it's not that easy. Well, now you got paint on there, so those tolerances and clearances are even thicker. I'd take you over in storage and show you the parts for this car, how he painted these parts, and there's just absolutely no attention to inside of anything. You know, this was a lipstick on a pig is what he was going for. But it's not a pig, it's a nice car. So we're gonna fix it up for him.
Painted radiator and half the stuff down here ain't. There's some things you just can't do with a paint gun.
Right.
It either won't fit in there or you can't get the correct angle or whatever. And this is a clear example of it.
Right. And the reason why the paint gun wouldn't fit is because there's a motor in it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we can, if you got to put the car 3 feet up in the air on jack stands in the paint booth, then put it up 3 feet in the air on jack stands.
That's what we do.
Yep. Now, we're not going underneath this car. We're going to check it all out, but we're not going underneath it because it was a running, driving car to begin with. Yeah, okay, there you go. See that? Do that again. Okay. You know, Snap-on guy was just here. They sell wrenches. You can buy wrenches to do this kind of work. They have them, and they've actually got ones that fit every size nut and bolt. You know, you can get a whole arrangement of them.
That's 2 different sizes.
Oh, okay. Come here. We got to stop pointing stuff out on this car. There's going to be a 3-hour video.
They already 28 minutes.
Okay, look at the bolts. Okay, that's more than likely metric, so it doesn't fit on there anyway. Yeah. But then look at that one. They're completely different sizes. Detail. Pay attention.
Take some pride in your work.
Yeah. You know, just taking pride in the fact that you can rob people's money and do nice things for yourself, which he didn't do anyway. He's kind of a whatever. I don't want to get into that, but you know, take some pride. Bag and tag everything when you take a car apart. If this master had come off, you take the bolts. I don't care if you put 2 bolts in a Ziploc bag and buy a 10-pack of Sharpies because the damn things die every time you take the lid off them, and write master cylinder to booster bolts on the bag. That way, when it's time to reassemble it, Bobby and I did it with the Corvair. You got a big box of bags, you lay them out, okay, here's what I'm doing today. You've got half a dozen bags with all the nuts and bolts you need to do things correctly. That's ground wire for like an amplifier.
This is speaker wire.
Yeah. You know, I mean, come on. It gets me madder and madder and madder the deeper we go into it. Yeah, exactly. They use speaker wire on the ground cable so the car sounds better.
Yeah. That's right.
I guess that makes sense. Details, okay? You're gonna go through all this and put that crappy electric motor back in there for your fan? No. What about the foam. You know, I mean, it's obvious that he taped this off, you know, but if you're going to tape it here, tape it where you're supposed to. Or better yet, take it out. You know, if I can take something off a car before we bodywork and paint it, I'm taking it off.
It's the prime reason for it's all right. You know how I say sometimes a lot of people can do body work, but not everybody can do restorations.
Right.
This is the difference right here.
This is a body guy. This is
Regular old collision repair, production.
This is a salvage auction car body guy kind of thing. That's the skill level that's here. I will brag on these guys, and I'll brag on myself for the skills that we've developed over years to be able to just absolutely pick this car apart. You know, and I don't want one of our cars leaving here, and let's say something happens, they need a water pump or something down the road, and they take it to some shop to do a water pump, and they're like, oh my God, he did this, and he did that, and he did that. You're not finding that on our cars. You will not find it. So, are they SEMA cars? No. You know, I've got really no interest in building a SEMA car. I'll do it if somebody wants to.
Somebody's got the budget.
If somebody's got the budget to build a SEMA car, I'll shut things down and build a SEMA car for you. But these are budget everyday people. I mean, and actually it's not everyday people, because not everybody can afford to do the work on a car. We need to get paid. But I want you to be blown away when you come and get your car for what you've paid to have it done, to the product that you get out of this shop. There's going to be a value, okay? A lot of times the value of what we do exceeds the value of the car, but that's because you want the car. It's not because I'm not doing flipper cars. I've done the thing with Uncle Tony's Garage on flipper cars, and no, we're not flipping cars. These are customer cars. Some of them are ours.
And when you paint a car, it's supposed to be shiny.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I can't find it.
And, you know, I've been doing this for a long, long time, okay? And it has been a long, long time since I've seen a fisheye. You know, they're not... Get that camera in here. I don't know if you can see it.
Some people eat those.
Yeah, fish eyes is... Yeah, I heard it's a delicacy some places, yeah. But go ahead and eat that. Go ahead, bite right onto that.
Go ahead, Austin.
But... You can't really make it out, but I mean, they're minor imperfections that become major glaring errors when the car is finally completed. When the car is completed and put together, you will find something wrong somewhere. Okay, but don't make it obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give people something to see wrong.
Plus, what's that?
I know. We gotta put the car cover back on.
I can't tell if it's a blister. Or
It looks like
it
looks like.
sandy.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of looks like a blister, but I mean, there you have it. We'll go. I could talk for hours. We haven't even made it to the back of the car yet. Okay, to show you stuff. But we will. Rest assured, we will. Everything.
Part 2 video.
Yeah, everything that we can find wrong with this car, we're gonna put a piece of paper right here, tape it to the windshield, and everything we find wrong with that car, I'll put on that piece of paper, and we're gonna tear this dude up. Okay, without naming any names, you're more than welcome to take.
He knows who he is.
He knows who he is. That's right. But I mean, that's the deal. We'll see you tomorrow.